Hey, welcome everybody. This is Dr. Blakeney. I'm going to take you on a quick tour of the Freedom Trail in Boston. We'll start off in the Boston Commons, which was created in 1634 by the Puritans, the same ones from the Mayflower, and it has served a lot of purposes. It started off as a place for grazing cattle and sheep, and also a gallows where people would publicly be shamed for breaking Puritan rules. But it also served as a place where Martin Luther King, Pope John Paul II have given speeches. Just above that is the new State House, built in 1797 on the former property of John Hancock, who you might know as one of the first signers of the Declaration of Independence. They used to call him King Hancock because he was wealthy, powerful, and had this big house. Moving on, we'll go to the Park Street Church, which is the first place in the U.S. where we had Sunday school, and it's also been a place that's been known for a lot of reforms, including Garrison, speaking in 1829, said, "I shall be heard." In 1831, we have the first rendition of "My Country, 'Tis of Thee." Right around the corner is the Granary Burying Ground, and this is where you'll find some of the famous revolutionary people buried, including three signers of the Declaration of Independence, Hancock, Robert Trent Payne, and Sam Adams. It also holds Paul Revere, who actually wasn't that famous in his day and wasn't the only one to do a midnight ride, but was still famous for the poem that was written well after his death, I believe. Moving on, we're going to go to King's Church. So in Boston, you had a lot of people that were loyalists to the king, and so the King's Church was the Anglican Church, which is the official religion of the United Kingdom, and it was purposely built on a Puritan burying ground, in other words, a Puritan cemetery, and today it is the oldest Unitarian church in the United States. Next, we'll move to the Boston Latin School, which still exists today, although not in the same place. And people like Otis, who I mentioned before, John Hancock, Ben Franklin, they all attended the school. We'll move on to the Old South Meeting House. In 1773, they had a Boston Tea Party meeting. About 5,000 people went, and this is when they decided it was time for action. So 342 chests were dumped into the harbor. It was $33,000 back then, which equates to about 16 or 17 million today. Very close is the first State House, built in 1732, and from the balcony, the first reading of the Declaration of Independence happened. Right in the same place, the Boston Massacre occurred on March 5th, 1770. Snowballs were being thrown at the lobsterbacks, otherwise known as the Redcoats or the British Army, and about 200 people gathered. It became a mob. 5 colonists are dead, and they are buried in the Granary Burying Ground. Let's move on to Faneuil Hall, which was built in 1742 by a guy named Faneuil, and it was a gift to the city. It's been called the Cradle of Liberty because so many people have gone there to do some public speaking. At first, it was like a place where people would meet to sell their crops, but farmers were a little reluctant because they said, hey, if there's all these people together, it's going to be too competitive and the prices will go down. But that's not actually what happened. In 1826, they added the Quincy Market, and they thought about condemning it in the 1900s, but they decided not to, and so since 1970, it's been a popular tourist destination for restaurants, shops, etc., and it's one of the best places in the United States to see street performers. All right, so that's a quick summary of the Boston Freedom Trail. We also have the USS Constitution and Breed's Hill as well that are close by Paul Revere's house. So if you get a chance to go to Boston, it's a great tour to go on. I would suggest hiring a guide like I did, where you can learn a lot more information. Thanks, and I'll see you in the classroom soon. Take care.